What's going on, everybody? Joe here. We've got some news for you today. Um, right about an hour ago, Congress went ahead and did this. The U.S. House has just passed an anti Trump Iran war powers resolution to rein in military action 215 to 208. Cheers erupt to aid the Iranian regime on the House floor. Utter betrayal, he goes on to say. And of course, the yays from the Republicans, rhinos, were the usual suspects. Loser Massey, who lost his primary because, he constantly was showing his constituents that he would vote against Trump 100 times. Border wall spending, ICE funding. He was in charge, one of the two in charge of, with a Democrat, of course, a crazy Democrat, of forcing the sloppy release of the Epstein files, leading to a bunch of false statements all over the internet about what Trump was involved in, based on hearsay and Trump's name's in there a million times, and it turned out that when you really dug into him, yeah, Trump's name was in there because Epstein hated him and was working with Democrats to try to undermine his presidency and ensure that he didn't win. But that's beside the point. Guy's a complete loser. Fitzpatrick, he's the guy that's constantly up Ukraine's ass, probably has a little shady money deal going on there, like a lot of these people. His wife works for Fox. She's always attacking Trump. So there you have it. That's what happened. Now let's take a listen to the celebration on the House floor for this pointless gesture, and we'll get to why it's pointless in just a moment. Here you go.
On this vote, the yeas are 215 and the nays are 208. The concurrent resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
And there you have it. So there is our lovely House of Representatives undermining our president, who is simply trying to bring peace to the Middle East, which actually affects America in a major way, by Iran not having access to nuclear weapon capabilities and so on. Let me mute this really quick. So the reason that this is pointless, they actually used Section 5C of the 1973 War Powers Resolution, which basically states that a president cannot start a war without without Congress's express approval. But Trump didn't start a war; he carried out strikes, just like Obama did his entire term, even killed Americans, and Democrats were clapping seals the whole time, mind you. But they have a problem with Iran. Well, the actual people who are celebrating this in America would be Podcastistan, the Tucker Carlsons, and all these retards that recycle each other on their own shows. Those types, the people that are paid by Middle Easterners and paid by Russia. We got Candace Owens gaslighting her audience, saying she's going on a family trip to Russia only to be appearing at a Russian oligarch's conference. They're all owned by a guy named Alexander Dugin. You might want to look into him if you really want to see why these people flipped on Trump so easily. These people do not have your country's best interests in heart. These people do not care about you or your country. They care about their wallets and their bottom lines. That's just the truth. So those are the people they're celebrating, including what they call City of London, who installed this regime with the help of obviously the CIA back in the day. Well, not this current regime. We blew up like 3 of them before we got to this one. But who installed the original one? Who installed that system of government, let's say? And basically all the wrong people are going to be happy about this, which should show you who they are if you're a sane, rational person who doesn't constantly doom and gloom and has to live, constantly feeling as though everything's negative and so on and so forth, which there's a ton of people out there like that. But here's the reality of it. Article 2 makes the president commander-in-chief of the military. I'm sure you've all heard that. Basically, the Army, the Navy, any branch of military he is in charge of. And that gives him the operational authority to carry out direct strikes like that. We're not at war. We're carrying out targeted strikes, which is 100% constitutional. So this little vote, even if it was to pass the Senate, would do next to nothing would do literally nothing to stop anything that Trump does in Iran, aside from a full-on boots on the ground war. That's the only thing that would end up stopping, because the president technically cannot start an actual boots on the ground war in any country, let alone Iran, without the express approval of Congress. Obama did not run to Congress every time he wanted to carry out a targeted bombing or a strike, right? He just didn't. So it gives him that authority to carry out those strikes, respond to threats, and conduct military actions, period. Especially when it's framed as protecting U.S. interests, which it is. It's obviously protecting U.S. interests. Do you think that the Strait of Hormuz, do you think this is the first time that Hormuz was shut down because Trump carried out some strikes? They've shut down that strait many times in history because they got a bug up their ass and or were instructed to by their masters in London. So at the end of the day, the war power resolution has always been kind of a political speed bump. I would call it, rather than enforceable law. Every single modern president of our time, including Trump, has basically treated it as like a 60-day clock. So that's why you saw, okay, here's Operation Epic Freedom, let's say. I can't remember what all the operations are called so far, but they carry out a new operation every so often to be able to continue carrying out strikes. They've even got economics, I guess we could call them strikes, happening with Scott Bessent in charge of, which he's calling economic something or other. I don't even know. And they've got all these things happening all the way around. So at the end of the day, yes, Congress has the power to declare war and control, purse strings, things like that. But they don't get to micromanage everything that Trump does, or any president does for that matter, when it comes to these tactical decisions in like real time and in real life. They would like to when it's Trump that's president. They didn't seem too interested when it was Obama that was president, but it is what it is. So at the end of the day, this vote really changed nothing on the ground. Trump's not going to pull out troops. So anybody celebrating the thought of that happening is not only retarded, doesn't know how these things actually work. And if they really wanted to take it far enough, they could take it right up to the SCOTUS, who is going to constitutionally tell them, you can fuck off. We're trying to keep America great. So anyway, guys, that's what I got for you. Just another example of why these people are getting primaried out. They're just useless. They are grandstanders. They aren't pro-America. They are not America first, as they like to claim when they run. They're the opposite of that. You saw Thomas Massie run down to wherever the hell MTG is. Somebody had pointed out on X, as a matter of fact, it was actually amazing. It was an amazing post. But somebody had pointed out on X that, this is the same lady who was crying that her kids can't afford this and she can't afford that, and it's so expensive and yada, yada, yada. And then went directly on vacation for now probably close to 3 weeks to a completely different country to hang out with her new boyfriend. And then Massie joined after he got his ass handed to him as well. But they can afford these lavish vacations while also claiming they can't afford simple things like gas and food. The woman who enriched herself in Congress and then fled the second that she knew that Trump wasn't going to even bother with her dumb ass any longer, after she showed her true colors, after she showed she doesn't support our president, after she showed that she doesn't support the 71 million people that voted for this agenda, this exact agenda that Trump is carrying out right now. So yeah, at the end of the day, these people continue to show their true colors, and we're getting to watch it in real time. So it's amazing to see. Just know that none of this is going to matter, even if it passes the Senate. The president can actually veto this, and then there's a process that they can take it back to Congress, and they can override the veto and stuff. But at the end of the day, the override still won't matter even after the president vetoes it, because the Constitution grants the president this authority, period. All right, guys, that's what I got for you on this video. Please consider leaving me a like. Give me a thumbs up there. That really helps me with the algorithm. If you are pro-Trump and you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, whatever, and I'll talk to you guys very soon.